What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Skyxx148 Podcast. This is currently week 18 of doing the podcast, episode number 18, and I am super excited to do this. 18 episodes, so we've gone a long way, and we got a long road ahead of us. And I have some ideas for the future of the podcast, and I will get into that a little later. But yeah. So, if you would like to follow me on social media, I have my social medias linked in the description. Follow me on Instagram, Skyxx148, Twitter, Skyxx148. And if you know me personally, you can add me on Facebook if you so please. If you like my content, please consider subscribing because it would mean the world if I can eventually have some sort of plaque on my wall, like a 100K plaque, a million, I can only hope and dream, but only if you can subscribe and make that happen, that would be great. And I just realized now I need to make sure that my audio is actually coming through the right. Okay. I think we're good now. You should be able to hear me good. We got 5 viewers currently. Thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, if you have not, please subscribe. That would mean a great world to me. I'm really looking forward to just doing the podcast more in general, hopefully getting some guests on, getting some more involvement in other things, and have a more interesting podcast. And yeah. So what's recent in my life? Well, in the past 2 weeks, I've just been chilling out, taking care of my nephew, playing games, schoolwork. There's nothing really huge per se. Hello, Mr. Six. Thank you for tuning in. Nothing really super major besides, maybe one thing, which I will get into here shortly, which does have to do with this person. So yeah. So what will be in the podcast today? We have my What's New segment where I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of different things that's been happening in my life, news, things like that, and give my take on it. And then we're going to talk about today's episode, musical, which is currently Wicked. And Wicked's a really good show, so I'm glad to give my thoughts on that. So without a shadow of a doubt, let's get into the first thing, which is TUPS, the Unknown Paranormal Society. This is one of the members, Six, aka Travi, and we also have Brian, Jaden. Why am I blanking? Brian, Jaden, Travi, me, and Alexis. Sorry, I completely blanked out there. And you may be wondering, what's the group going to do? What's our huge role here? Well, we're pretty much going to be a paranormal group, and we hope to bring some amazing content and amazing investigations to YouTube and just expand social media and become a decently sized paranormal group and just bring entertainment to people. And this is going to be done through various people doing various things. Like me, my role in the group is a social media manager and sort of editor. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be editing some pictures, edits, and stuff like that for people to see and a visual compared to what's written. And I'm also the social media manager. So if you would like to go follow this paranormal group on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all accounts which I manage, I put a link down below, and we're posting at least 2 times a week, and we're going for as frequent as possible. So I'm super excited to just do this and hopefully get a following. We have, I believe, 150-ish likes on Facebook, which is a decent amount. So yeah, that's what we can say about TUPS. It's been really fun just trying to get a start out there and getting our social media presence and our presence in general. And I know we're going to be having a investigation video coming out very soon. I may or may not know dates. I don't, and it'll be soon. All right. So if you are listening and you actually are interested in the Unknown Paranormal Society and you want to see our first video and all that, go subscribe to or go follow all of our social medias. when a YouTube is made, I will have it linked and I will promote it. And when the YouTube video comes out, you can go watch it. It'll be such an amazing investigation, and I think you all will really enjoy it. So next thing, well, I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, but that's because I wanted to talk about this and elaborate this in my own little segment here in the What's New segment. Essentially, last Monday, not last Monday, like 2-ish weeks ago, I auditioned virtually for my school musical. I sent in a video of me singing, and as you heard before on my other podcast, you can make your own decision where you think I'm a good singer or not. But I sent in a video of me singing a Captain Hook song because the musical was Peter Pan. And then the week after, I went on Monday, did a dance and acting audition rehearsal, which was super fun. It was awesome to see all my castmates and everything like that back. And then the next day, I immediately went back for a callback, my first callback of my theater history, and it was super fun. I got to read for Captain Hook and Smee. I did not get those parts, but I did get a role of Starkey. And he has around like 8 to 10 lines in the musical, and it's just going to be a fun production to, meet up with all my friends and theater family and all this during COVID and just have a fun time, produce a show. Now the show's not going to be live, maybe live for a couple people, like kids that worked on our show, set wise, costume wise, and all that. But at heart, it's just going to be a virtual production, and even just people watching it virtually is going to be super fun. Now, once all that is done and like we have a finished edited show, I will be posting the link on my YouTube here shortly. It's around in 3 months, because in 3 months is when we finish our production. So maybe I'll have a podcast episode for season 2, and I'll talk about our production, and I'll talk about some ins and outs of Peter Pan, or our production of Peter Pan, and get a little bit of an inside scoop, and maybe you'll find some fun in it and watching it, because I know the official productions are cool, but watching high school productions are also awesome. So, my show role was Starkey, the pirate, which is one of 4 named pirates, I believe, which is cool. It's bigger and better than my previous role as crap shooter in Guys and Dolls at my school, which I'm still very happy to be a part of. Like, it was a fun experience getting to hop into theater, learn choreography, and all that kind of stuff. So next, Gina Carano fired. Oh boy. So if you don't know who Gina Carano is, she is a wrestler, I believe, and she played Cara Dune in Mandalorian. And I thought she played the character really well, and her presence in the show was actually just very awesome and very welcomed. And I really liked the character, but she talked about things on social media, and she shared her opinion on things, and not even necessarily sharing her opinion, but just reposting stuff. And because of that, the Modern Society got her canceled, and she got fired and canned from Disney. And what she was doing, she was speaking out against censorship, and Disney firing her just like proves the point that she's being censored. It's just insane. She was just a really good actress, and you know what she did? People were pestering her. People were harassing her to put pronouns in her bio, and it was her free speech and her decision in order to do that. And what she did was she put beep bop boop in her as pronouns in her bio, referencing R2D2. But people got triggered and called her transphobic and racist and all this for practically no reason. And she also reposted a thing on Instagram about how the government in Nazi Germany put neighbors against their put neighbors against their neighbor Jews, and the neighbors would beat the Jewish people. And I think what she was doing is reposting it, and she was giving awareness to the fact that it wasn't all Nazis. Like, there was government that was being corrupt and government that was wrong. And I think she was spreading awareness to this fact. But again, she got canceled for it for no exact reason, and Gina Carano was fired. I don't know how her career is going to progress after this, because once this kind of social media whole getting canceled thing comes in, it kind of ruins your career, and I feel bad for her. She shouldn't be silenced. She shouldn't be censored. She should be in season 3 of Mandalorian. And um, as much as I don't like it, I mean, Pedro Pascal has said something sort of risky as well, and he should be censored, and he should be fired from it too. But of course, Disney is going to be, rules for thee, not for me. Gina Carano is more right-sided, so they're going to fire her, can her, and they're going to try to make a statement. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all that is to it. I can tell you for sure, Hasbro has scrapped plans in order to make a new action figure of Cara Dune. And the current Cara Dune merchandise, like specifically the pop figures and the action figures, they've been going up in value a lot. Like I believe the Black Series action figure for Cara Dune is $190 and it retails at $20. So, oh yeah, lots of margins. Also, the Funko Pop is going up. I'm not sure exactly about that price, but I've been doing some searching for it because I would love to have it, and I'm really kicking myself in the ass because I've seen it on shelves. I'm like, oh, I should get that, and I never did because I never had a specific one for it, and because of that, I kind of lost my chance at something like that. It was going up in value, but hey, maybe I'll stumble across it. WandaVision past 2 episodes. Yeah, so I missed last week, so I didn't get to talk about the newest WandaVision episode. And of course, I'd be talking about the newest WandaVision episode for last week anyway, so we're going to get into that. Do not bring him up here, please. Anyway. Oh, I hear someone else is listening down there. So WandaVision, the last 2 episodes. So I need to recount real quick. So yes. So essentially, Wanda had her kids, and the kids were aging up in episode 5. And the kids went through a lesson of they can't age themselves to get rid of pain. Their dog died. There's a couple of sus things. And then at the end of the episode, something really interesting happened. Is Pietro Maximoff, Evan Peters playing him, actually came in at the end and made a guest star appearance. And it was really interesting. It set all the fans a storm, and I think this is where the first bit of actual WandaVision hype came in, and people that weren't fans became fans. And then leading up to episode 6, it was a Halloween episode where they kind of introduced Pietro as a character and explored the fact that he's not necessarily a part of the loop. He knows that there's something fishy going on. And it just expanded on like Jimmy Woo and Darcy and Monica Rambeau, some of the outside characters, their plans, motivations. And by the end of the episode, and Vision in this episode was also trying to find a way to get out of the hex and seeing what's going on. So he was seeing things unravel, and meanwhile he finally got out of the hex. When he got out of the hex, Wiccan and Speed, Wanda's kids, they alerted Wanda that Vision was dying, so Wanda used her powers and started expanding the hex. And the episode ended with her turning the entire sword shield base into a clown and carnival, which is kind of funny. It's a good analogy, turning the people that are against her into clowns, literal clowns. She turned Darcy into something we have not seen yet, but the episode ends with her just expanding the hex, and the hex just keeps going and going, and there's no definitive end. So I wonder, what is this week's episode going to be about? Is her hex still going to go, or are we going to get like another kind of sitcom kind of theme, but it's going to continue after, or is it going to be a direct continuation of the previous episode or not, or what is it going to be? So who knows? I can only hope. that it's a good episode. Supposedly it's going to be an hour long, so that should be sounding good. Yeah. Um so plans for the podcast. So we're currently on the 18th episode, which is very long, and I've been doing some solo podcasts for a little bit of time now. But I was thinking, what shall we do for 20 and beyond? I'm thinking I kind of split this up into seasons, and there's like 20 episodes in a season. Yeah, that sounds a lot, but I think it's fairly reasonable. Therefore, there's only a season change every like now and then. Now and then. So I'm thinking after season 20, I'm gonna take a break from the podcast for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna come back at it, and I'm gonna have a better structure for the podcast set up. Maybe a couple guest stars lined up. I can interview some people. I'm not sure who, but I shall get that set. And essentially, I will change the thumbnail design. So right now, there's like white little triangles and a blue backing, and then I add whatever the episode is about. But I'm thinking about changing the background to a red to represent the second season, and that's literally about it. In terms of naming the podcast, I think I don't think I want to like say season 2, episode 1. I think I want to keep the like episode 21 going, if that kind of makes sense. 21 and beyond to 40, because I think so. There'd be something satisfying about seeing in a playlist 100 episodes and you see them being counted up from episode 1 to episode 100. I think that'd be interesting. So that's my plan for it. And in terms of what I do for it, watching shows and talking about shows, I would love to do. I don't know. I would love to just watch some sort of show and continually talk about the newest episode every week, or do something like watch a couple episodes and talk about it in a week, and then I'll have the show done by the third episode. Or I'm thinking of doing like a movie series. Say something like Shrek, Twilight, DC, Marvel. Watch one of those movies every week and have a segment dedicated to the movie and what I thought about it. XLs, things that weren't so good about it, and that kind of thing. So I think I can make that work, and I'll have it all planned out. I'll see. And next thing I was thinking about is game reviews. Yeah, game reviews. I got 5 games: Dishonored 2, Skyrim, Mass Effect, 2 other games I can't remember, and I got Fallout 76 too that I have yet to touch and yet to play. So I'm wondering, what if I do like a game review and just play a whole game and then come to the podcast and review it? And I know they're not new games, but it could still garner some attention to some people that are fans of said game franchise. Yeah. So next thing, moving on from the plans of the podcast, Justice League Snyder Cut. So the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer was recently released, and it was very dark and it was very interesting. It was definitely a different take from what Joss Whedon did on it, and I'm interested to see how it's going to go. Yeah, in my personal opinion, it didn't look too good per se, but I think I'm looking forward to it. It's something that I will watch, hopefully, and that's all I can really say and elaborate on it. Next thing, so I did watch a movie this week. That movie being Wally's Wonderland. Or was it Willy's Wonderland? It was something of that nature. I watched this movie, and I thought it was pretty good, but then I did some research into it, further research, and it was really interesting. Because there's things like, so basically, it's a kind of thing where this man is a drifter. It's Nicolas Cage. He comes to his town. He goes over a spike that was purposely set there. They say, "Oh, we'll fix your car if you spend the night at Willy's." And in Willy's, there are killer animatronics. It's pretty much Five Nights at Freddy's. And Nicolas Cage in the movie, he just kills all the animatronics and he just murders them and just completely dominates them and completes the job. But I don't know, there has been some symbolism that he's death or he is a demon, or specifically that he was a child that got attacked and there, or he got his parents killed in there, and that he came back for like he came back to get revenge on these animatronics and murder them. Furthermore, when he has this thing where his watch beeps and he goes and takes a break, plays pinball, and very much so how he dances and how he like goes about doing that and how he touches a pinball machine. It's like he has a personal connection to the pinball machine, like he's done something with it before. And also he acts like a child, and like the review I was watching said that mentally, that's kind of what happens. They retain some of their childlike innocence from PTSD kind of moments. So I think it'd be interesting if we somehow got some sort of book or some expansion to this to find out whether, a little bit of backstory, what happened after and such. But Willy's Wonderland, it's I thought it was a decent movie. If you want to go watch something, have a date night, do something, go ahead and watch it. I mean, why not, Next thing, so state of Fortnite. Oh boy. I don't know. Fortnite has just not been good recently. All the updates and skins and stuff that they release have not been too strong, and I actually haven't played the game for a decent amount of time. I still log in from time to time to get my daily rewards because I've spent how much money on the game. I want to get at least some of my money back on it. But Fortnite as a whole hasn't been super strong, and it's getting very dull and boring. We're in week 13 of the newest season. We need a new season. We can't be going on this long with barely any content. It's boring. I finished the battle pass like weeks ago, and now I don't even want to play the game. I'm just not liking it. They need to change their stuff before it becomes a serious problem. Not with me, but like the whole Fortnite community as a whole might become an issue. So state of Cyberpunk 2077. I finished the game. I finished a whole bunch of side quests, a whole bunch of side missions, side jobs, and I've gotten a very good, unique taste on or spin on the game, and I think I've gotten a decent. I've gotten into the game. I've probably like well over 100 hours at least, and I think the game's pretty solid. But once you do everything there is to be done, it's boring. There's nothing to do, and I think they need to add something that gives you something to do every single week, or give us something new progressively so we're not just bored after doing everything. But otherwise, I'm excited to see how Cyberpunk takes it with more expansions, because hopefully that should be fun. Let me take a drink here. Sponsored by Smart Water. Drink it and your IQ will go up. Anyway, 2021. How is 2021 shaping up to be? It's shaping up to be still a COVID year. From what I can see, they're trying to push out the vaccine, and I think it's going decently. But I don't know. It's still shaping up to be a year of just not doing anything, and a year of wearing masks. Now, wearing masks isn't really bad, but it's going to be a year of just doing it, and it's just, we should not be doing this by now. We should be back to normal. But of course, we have corrupt politicians, and we don't have the right people in power, in my opinion. So that doesn't happen. We don't get to go back to normal because things are handled so badly. And I'm not talking about like Republican. I'm talking about Democrats. Democrats are buffoons. They are not doing the right things politically. And I don't know. 2021 is just shaping up to be an all right year. So the Super Bowl, how'd it go? Halftime, a national anthem. Now that's all I care about. I don't actually care about the football. So the halftime show was decent, a little complicated, but they did what they could for COVID, I guess. It was just all right, nothing too special. That's all I can say about it. The national anthem kind of sucked, in my opinion. Because we did a bracket and choir class about the national anthem, and I don't think this one was good at all. If you go listen to all the other national anthems, it just sucked. It just really sucks. And yeah, commercials were just mediocre. But last thing I have my what's new playlist here is the fact that why the hell does Super Bowl get to play? Why can 25,000 people be in the stadiums at the Super Bowl, but Broadway has to be shut and closed? It's like, if Broadway's not essential, football's not essential, why does one get to play over the other? It's completely bullcrap. We should be seeing Broadway open and shows reopen. We shouldn't just be seeing football. And even if football was, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. No, we shouldn't be seeing this thing with 25,000 people open when Broadway is not, because Broadway also has thousands of people working and actors and all this that should be working, should have a job. But no, people got to play football. I don't think it's quite fair. So next thing is the Wicked. First thing is, what is Wicked? Wicked is a Broadway musical that starred Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, and it's a pretty old musical. What is the plot of Wicked? Essentially, Elphaba, this witch, goes to a school, meets a girl, they become friends, they have boy problems. Elphaba wants to go do one thing, help the people. Glinda wants to go do one thing, help people. they go their separate ways, and it's just a story of Elphaba and Glinda, the Wicked Witch of the West, and the Good Witch, I think is her name. And it was a decent story. So where did I first hear of it? I don't know. I actually don't know. I think I just stumbled across Defying Gravity, and I went to listen to it, and I thought it was a decent song. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm just getting some water because I'm constantly talking. Plot of the show, I already said that. Favorite song is definitely Defying Gravity. I don't listen to anything from that show besides Defying Gravity, because Defying Gravity is just, I like it. It was a really solid song, but there were some other okay songs, but I can't quite remember what they were. Favorite scene. My favorite scene in the show, maybe my favorite scene would be perhaps the opening. I think no. Defying Gravity. Defying Gravity is my favorite scene. Just how they really pulled that off was just really awesome. She went in the air, people were dancing, a whole bunch of symbolism and characters and all that. And it was fun. Favorite character? Favorite character. I would have to say Elphaba. Yeah, I know. Quite cliche, but Elphaba was just a good character. By the way, the show that I watched was with Jessica Vosk as Elphaba, and she did really well. She did well. Underrated character, probably Bork, the Munchkin, Elphaba's sister's love interest. He was okay, underrated, and I think he was pretty good. He could use some more lines, a more presence in the show. But they're not going to change that. But I thought he was underrated. Were the songs good? Yes. Best Elphaba and Glinda. I think Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth were the best Elphaba and Glinda. That's all I can really say. Because, I mean, I know they are originals, but I don't think I've gotten a good taste of Wicked as a show to, say who's the best ones, but I'd say those are the best. Musical rating, 1 to 10. I would give this a 9. This is a really good Broadway show, and I definitely recommend going to watch some sort of slime tutorial. Or hell, if you're in New York and you want to see a good show, go watch Wicked. It's decent. Unless you have other plans, that is, other have tickets. Would I see it live? Yes, I would see it live. Of course, of course. I pretty much will see any show that I'm slightly interested in live. Well, of course, given that I have the time and money and all that, but I think it would be a really fun experience to see in person. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this podcast. Everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. If you would like to go follow me on social media, follow me at Skyxx148 on Instagram, Skyxx148 on Twitter. My links are in the description. If you would like to follow TUPS, the Unknown Paranormal Society, the paranormal society that I'm part of, go follow it. I have the link tree in the description to all their social medias. It would be much awesome. I'll be happy to, share with you all. There are further investigations and things that are posted to YouTube, so I'm excited. If you haven't already, subscribe, because subscribing will mean a great deal to me. I would love to have a plaque back there somehow. It would just mean the world. And tune in next week for another podcast. I promise that I'll have a podcast next week. Okay. So tune in next week for another podcast, solo podcast. Maybe I'll have a guest on. I'm thinking, hopefully. I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, we'll see. So other than that, thank you so much for tuning in, and everyone else, you have a good night. Goodbye.